Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our assembly. Have you had a birthday since lockdown started? If you have, I'd like to wish you a very happy birthday, and I hope you had a wonderful day celebrating. We have somebody who we're going to be looking at in assembly today, whose birthday is tomorrow, and he is called Martin Luther King. And up and down America, they will be having the day off school to celebrate this very special man. His name is Martin Luther King. He was an American, and it is his birthday on January the 15th. He was born in 1929. Every year in January, it is a holiday, so all the children get to stay off school. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen in England. But it is a very important man, so we want to look at him and learn more about him. So who was Martin Luther King? Well, as I said before, he was born in America. He was born in a place called Atlanta. And as a child, he enjoyed doing all the sorts of things that you like to enjoy doing. Playing sport was very popular. He played the piano, and I know lots of children at our school play the piano, and he enjoyed going to school. But it was a difficult life for him. It wasn't easy, and that's because he was African American. Now, America in the 1950s and 60s was very different to today, and that's largely contributed to some of the actions that he gave. In 1960s, life was particularly harsh for African Americans. They were treated very differently to white people, and they weren't allowed to use the same facilities. In some areas, like the buses and trains, they had to sit in different areas. They weren't allowed to mix. The same could be said for some parks and restaurants. They had separate areas, and they even had separate toilets from white people. Seems so strange today, but that is what happened in the 1950s and 60s. In some areas of America, African American children weren't even allowed to go to school, or if they did, they had to go to separate schools, and these schools were never given as much money or resources as the schools attended by white children. Is this fair? I don't think it's fair. Do you think it's fair? What do you think fair means? Well, let me give you an example. How would you feel if I said, if you had blue eyes, you could have the day off school? Would that be fair? No, that wouldn't be fair. How would you feel if I said, if you had blue eyes, you could take a vote and change the law of the country? And then you could do what you want. By changing the laws, you could make all sorts of different rules that work for yourself and not for others. Is that fair? No, it is not. And Martin Luther King thought that the rules that were in place in America in the 1950s and 60s was unfair too. So he wanted to do something about it. And that is why he is famous. He was a Christian, and he wanted to make sure that all Americans had the same rights, so they were allowed to do the same things regardless of their colour or race. He became a civil rights activist. That means he fought for the things he believed in, and he wanted to improve things for people and make people be treated equally and fairly. In 1955, there was a bus boycott. Now, a boycott means to stop using something, or to give something up, or to refuse to do something. And the reason for this is that there was an African American woman called Rosa Parks who got on the bus in 1955 and sat on the bus. But she knew that the rules at the time was that if a white man got onto the bus and there was no seats left, that she should give up her seat because she was an African American and give it to the white person. But Rosa Parks decided she would not give up her seat, and she was arrested by the police. Martin Luther King asked all African Americans to protest peacefully. That means to take a stand, but not in a violent way, but peacefully. And he asked them not to travel on the buses in the city anymore. And they did. They did not use the buses for 385 days. That's more than a whole year, which made it quite hard for them because some people had to walk a long way to get to places of work or worship or school. The boycott ended when the court ruled that people of different coloured skin could use the same bus and that there shouldn't be separate areas for them. And then the people started to use the buses again, but they had made a huge difference, and that was just a small step in the right direction for equality. Martin Luther King is very well known for a very famous speech he made called "I Have a Dream." If you want to hear that speech, you can Google it, or you can go onto YouTube and hear him actually speaking. In 1963, Martin Luther led a huge march on Washington, D.C., which is the capital of America, a bit like London is the capital of the UK. In front of a huge crowd, he made his famous speech, "I Have a Dream." This is a little extract from it. "I have a dream that one day little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with their white boys and white girls as brothers and sisters." He had lots of amazing achievements in his lifetime. In 1964, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for his work to end racial prejudice in America. He managed to get the law to be changed so that everyone could vote, not just white people or not just people with blue eyes, like in my example. It is because of him and others who worked with him that we have equal rights today, but there are still evidence of unfairness in our world, and there's a long way to go, and we must all help in that fight. Can we put our hands together and close our eyes? Dear God, help us to spread peace at home and at school by loving and caring for one another. Help us to spread peace by listening to one another, even when we don't agree. Help us to spread peace by sharing our time with those who are lonely and who need a friend. Let us think about peace for our families and friends and for those in the world. Amen. If you'd like to learn more about Martin Luther King, please do have a look on some of the search engines and the websites, because there are some wonderful things to find out about him and his work. I hope you have a great day learning about Martin Luther King and enjoy celebrating his birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Martin Luther King. And it's goodbye from me, and I hope you're back soon with another assembly. I hope you're all keeping well, and we'd love to hear from you. So keep sending us your work and pictures and emails, and I hope you have a really good week. Bye.